In the vast untamed theatre of the wild, every sunrise marks the beginning of a new chapter in the ancient saga of survival. Here, conflict is not just common, it's woven into the very fabric of existence. From the shadowy depths where giant squid and sperm whales clash in silent, titanic struggles, to the dizzying heights where mountain goats risk everything for a foothold on a sheer cliff, animals everywhere are locked in a relentless contest for life itself. These are not battles fueled by hatred or vengeance, but by the raw, unyielding demands of nature. Each confrontation is a story of necessity, written in the language of instinct and survival. Consider the lioness, her muscles rippling as she defends a fresh kill from prowling hyenas, or the tiny songbird, fiercely guarding her nest from intruders. Each is driven by the same primal needs: to secure food, to protect a safe haven for their young, and to ensure their bloodline endures. Every day is a crucible, testing strength, cunning, and endurance. For a cheetah, a single failed hunt could mean starvation. For a gazelle, a moment's hesitation could spell the end. The stakes are nothing less than life and death. The variety of these showdowns is as boundless as the animal kingdom itself. In the coral reefs, mantis shrimp duel with lightning-fast strikes, while in the Arctic, polar bears battle over scarce hunting grounds. Sometimes the drama unfolds as a breathtaking chase, a cheetah exploding into motion after a gazelle, or an eagle plummeting from the sky to snatch a fish from shimmering waters. In these moments, the world narrows to a single, desperate contest between predator and prey. At other times, the conflict is between rivals of the same kind. In the heart of the forest, two stags lock antlers, their breath steaming in the cold air as they battle for the right to mate. On the savannah, bull elephants crash together in a cloud of dust, each determined to lead the herd. Lionesses, too, may clash in fierce skirmishes, defending the invisible lines that mark their hunting grounds. These rivalries are intense, driven by the deep-seated urge to prove dominance and secure the best resources. The victorious wolf, standing over a defeated rival, claims not just leadership, but the future of its lineage. The tools of these battles are as varied as the creatures themselves. Evolution has sculpted claws that can slice through flesh, teeth that can crush bone, and antlers that can shatter rivals' defenses. Some rely on sheer power, grizzly bears wrestling in roaring rivers, or bison thundering across the plains, their massive heads colliding in earth-shaking impacts. Others wield specialized weaponry, the tiger's saber-like canines, the stag's sprawling antlers, each a masterpiece of adaptation honed over countless generations. But brute force is not always the answer. In the undergrowth, a nimble mongoose dodges the deadly strike of a cobra, while a camouflaged snake melts into the leaf litter, invisible to both predator and prey. Intelligence and cooperation can tip the scales. Wolves hunt in coordinated packs, outmaneuvering prey much larger than themselves. Meerkats stand sentry, their sharp eyes scanning for danger, each member relying on the vigilance of the group. A single, clever animal can outwit a stronger foe, and a united herd can form an impenetrable wall, protecting the vulnerable from even the most fearsome predators. Yet every battle comes at a cost. A wounded animal limps away, its body bearing the scars of conflict, each mark a testament to the price of survival. Some pay the ultimate price, falling in the heat of combat, their stories ending in a single, brutal moment. For the victor, the spoils are immense: a hard-won meal, a territory rich with promise, or the right to mate and shape the next generation. The winner enjoys the fruits of triumph, nourishment, safety, and the chance to pass on their legacy. The defeated may face exile, hunger, or the quiet fading of their bloodline, their dreams of dominance slipping away with the setting sun. Yet, these fierce contests are not senseless violence. They are the engine of evolution, shaping species, maintaining the delicate balance of ecosystems, and ensuring that only the strongest, smartest, or most adaptable survive. In every battle, the wild writes its own story, one of struggle, sacrifice, and the unbreakable will to endure. In the wild, a successful hunt is only half the battle. Keeping the prize is the other, often more difficult, half. Across the animal kingdom, every meal is hard won, and every bite must be defended with cunning, strength, and sometimes pure desperation. Picture a lioness, her sides heaving after a long chase, finally bringing down a wildebeest. As she catches her breath, the first challenge arrives, not from the prey, but from a circling pack of hyenas, their eyes glinting with hunger and opportunity. A female leopard in the African savannah knows this reality all too well. Her world is one of constant vigilance, where every shadow could be a rival. After making a kill, her first instinct is to secure her precious meal from the countless thieves that roam the plains. She drags her prize through the tall grass, ears flicking at every sound, eyes scanning for danger. Using her incredible strength, she can hoist a carcass much heavier than herself high into the branches of a tree. This is her fortress, a place where few can follow. This treetop pantry is her best defense against scavengers like hyenas and lions who prowl below, hoping for a dropped morsel or a moment of weakness. However, her greatest threat can sometimes come from her own kind. In a dramatic and dangerous confrontation, another leopard may appear, drawn by the scent of fresh blood. Imagine the scene. Her meal is safely stashed, but the wind betrays her, carrying the aroma to a rival. The branches tremble as another leopard approaches, muscles tensed, eyes locked on the prize. A larger, more powerful male leopard appears, intent on stealing her prize. The air crackles with tension as he ascends, each step a threat. He is bigger and stronger, and a direct fight would be a deadly risk for her. She must weigh her options, stand her ground or surrender her meal. Initially, she might retreat, knowing that her life is more valuable than a single meal, but hunger gnaws at her, and the instinct to protect what is hers surges within. Across the plains, other predators face similar dilemmas. A cheetah, after a lightning-fast chase, barely has time to catch its breath before jackals and vultures descend, eager to snatch a meal from the exhausted cat. Summoning her courage, the leopard decides to stand her ground, letting out a series of guttural snarls to warn the intruder that she will not give up her food without a fight. The branches shake as the two cats circle, each calculating their next move. The resulting conflict is a whirlwind of claws and teeth high above the ground. Each swipe, each bite is a gamble with life and death. The male, confident in his size advantage, attempts to overpower her. He lunges, jaws snapping, but she twists away, using the narrow branches to her advantage. The female is agile and ferocious, using her sharp claws and powerful legs to fend off his attacks. She leaps from branch to branch, forcing him to follow her into more precarious positions. She knows that a single mistake, a single misplaced paw, could mean a fatal fall or a deadly bite from the larger cat. Every second is a test of balance, strength, and nerve. This isn't just a squabble over food, it is a life-or-death struggle. The outcome will decide who eats and who goes hungry. She is fighting not only for her meal, but for her very survival, as an injury could leave her unable to hunt, leading to certain starvation in this unforgiving landscape. Against the odds, her tenacity and fierce defense can pay off. Sometimes the underdog prevails. By being quicker and more determined, she can successfully injure the male or make the fight more trouble than it's worth for him. The defeated intruder slinks away, licking his wounds. The cat burglar, realizing he has underestimated his opponent, may decide to back down and search for an easier meal elsewhere. Exhausted but victorious, the female leopard claims her prize. She eats quickly, always alert, knowing that danger could return at any moment. She has not only secured her food for another day, but has also proven that in the wild, courage and a fighting spirit can be just as important as sheer size and strength. From the lioness fending off hyenas, to the cheetah defending its kill from jackals, and the leopard battling rivals in the treetops. Every meal is a story of strategy, bravery and survival in a world of constant competition. Deep within the tangled arteries of the Amazon rainforest, where sunlight barely pierces the emerald canopy, and the air hangs thick with humidity, two of nature's most formidable predators silently patrol their realms. Here, the river is both a lifeline and a battlefield, its muddy waters concealing secrets and danger at every turn. On the shadowy forest floor, the jaguar moves with ghost-like stealth. Its rosette-patterned coat blends seamlessly with the dappled light, and every muscle ripples beneath its golden fur as it glides through the undergrowth. The jaguar's senses are razor-sharp, ears twitching at the faintest rustle, nostrils flaring to catch the scent of prey. It is a solitary hunter, patient and calculating, often spending hours tracking the subtle movements of the river's edge. Beneath the water's surface, the caiman lies in wait, nearly invisible, except for the glint of its eyes and the faint ripple of its armored tail. The caiman is a master of ambush, remaining motionless for hours, its body perfectly adapted to the slow, silent currents of the Amazon. It is a creature of patience, relying on sudden bursts of speed to snatch unsuspecting prey from the riverbank. For much of the year, these two apex predators coexist in a tense truce, each dominating its own territory, one ruling the land, the other the water. Their encounters are rare, and when they do meet, it is a silent standoff, each animal measuring the other's strength and resolve. But hunger is a powerful force. When the dry season shrinks the rivers and prey becomes scarce, the jaguar's boldness grows. Driven by necessity, it approaches the water's edge, eyes locked on the caiman, calculating every possible outcome. The tension is palpable. One wrong move could mean death. The jaguar crouches low, its body coiled like a spring. It studies the caiman's movements, waiting for the perfect moment. This is not a reckless attack, but a meticulously planned ambush. The jaguar knows the caiman's habits, its blind spots, and the precise timing needed to strike. With barely a sound, the jaguar slips into the water, its powerful limbs propelling it silently across the current. Unlike most cats, the jaguar is an adept swimmer, using the river as both a highway and a hunting ground. It moves with purpose, sometimes crossing wide stretches to approach the caiman from an unexpected angle. The caiman senses the disturbance, its ancient instincts alerting it to the presence of another predator. It rises slowly, eyes breaking the surface, nostrils flaring as it gauges the threat. To the caiman, the jaguar is both rival and potential prey, a dangerous gamble in the eternal struggle for survival. The caiman advances, jaws parting in anticipation. It is confident in its domain, certain that the water gives it the upper hand. The river is its ally, offering speed and concealment, but the jaguar is a master of deception. Hidden by floating vegetation and the river's murk, it waits until the caiman is within striking distance. Every muscle is tensed, every sense focused on the moment to come. Suddenly the jaguar explodes from its hiding place, launching itself with astonishing speed and force. The water erupts in a frenzy of splashes and roars, the air thick with the scent of adrenaline and fear. The battle plunges beneath the surface, a violent struggle of teeth, claws, and raw power. The caiman twists and thrashes, using its muscular tail to try and dislodge the jaguar, while the big cat clings with relentless determination. In these murky depths, the caiman is in its element. It spins and snaps, trying to drag the jaguar into deeper water where it can drown its attacker. The outcome hangs in the balance, each animal fighting with every ounce of strength and instinct. But the jaguar has evolved a weapon unlike any other cat, a bite of extraordinary power and precision. Its jaws are designed not just to kill, but to pierce bone and armor. With a single devastating bite, the jaguar targets the caiman's skull. Its teeth sink through thick hide and bone, delivering a fatal blow that ends the struggle in an instant. The caiman's body goes limp, the river settling once more, as the victor emerges. The jaguar's strategy, patience, and raw strength have triumphed over the caiman's speed and ferocity. With the battle won, the jaguar stands over its prize, breath heaving, eyes scanning the shadows for any sign of threat. It is a moment of pure dominance, a testament to the jaguar's place at the top of the food chain. With powerful jaws, the jaguar drags the heavy caiman from the water, muscles straining as it hauls its kill into the safety of the jungle. There, beneath the tangled roots and towering trees, it will feast in solitude, undisturbed by any rival. These epic confrontations are rare, but when they occur, they reveal the extraordinary adaptations and behaviors that have allowed both jaguar and caiman to survive in one of the world's most challenging environments. The jaguar's willingness to enter the caiman's domain, to risk everything for a meal, is a testament to its audacity and skill. It is not just a hunter of the land, but a fearless predator of the water, mastering both worlds in its relentless pursuit of survival. In the heart of the Amazon, where every day is a struggle for dominance, the jaguar's victory over the caiman cements its legacy as the undisputed apex predator, a true sovereign of the rainforest, shaped by the wild, untamed forces of nature. As autumn descends upon the vast forests of North America, the landscape transforms into a breathtaking tapestry of red and gold. But beneath this serene beauty, a primal drama is about to unfold, one that will determine the fate of future generations. The mighty moose, North America's largest land mammal, is driven by an ancient, irresistible urge. As the crisp air signals the arrival of the rut or breeding season, every bull moose is compelled by powerful hormonal changes. Testosterone surges, fueling aggression and sharpening focus. During the rut, the forest echoes with the guttural calls of bulls, each one advertising his presence and dominance. The air is thick with tension, as every movement and sound could signal a rival's approach. The enormous bulls, their senses heightened, are singularly focused on one goal, finding and securing a mate. Their massive bodies, sometimes weighing up to 1,800 pounds, are built for both endurance and power. A dominant bull may gather a small harem of females, using his size and strength to keep rivals at bay. But his reign is never secure. The forest is alive with the presence of younger, ambitious bulls, each one waiting, watching, and calculating his chances. These younger bulls, often hidden in the shadows, are driven by the same biological imperative. They are constantly assessing the dominant bull's strength, searching for any sign of weakness or fatigue. The dominant bull is ever vigilant, his every muscle tensed, his ears swiveling to catch the faintest sound of an approaching challenger. The emotional stakes are high. For the dominant bull, defeat means the loss of his harem and the end of his genetic legacy for the year. For the challenger, victory is the only path to passing on his genes. The forest holds its breath as the challenger finally emerges from the shadows, his body language bold, his antlers held high. The two bulls lock eyes and the tension is palpable. This is not just a contest of strength, but of will, strategy, and survival. The stage is set for a monumental clash, a battle that will echo through the forest and leave its mark on the land. The confrontation begins with ritualized displays. Each bull puffs up his body, bristles his fur, and lowers his head, showcasing his size and strength. They circle each other, hooves crunching on fallen leaves, their breath steaming in the cold air. This is a psychological battle, as much as a physical one. Each bull trying to intimidate the other into backing down. If neither yields, the contest escalates. Their antlers, broad, palmated, and sometimes spanning 6 feet, are not just ornaments, but formidable weapons evolved for these very battles. The bulls stand tall, displaying their full height and the impressive spread of their antlers, a clear signal of their genetic fitness. These antlers, weighing up to 80 pounds, are both a badge of honor and a test of survival. Only the healthiest bulls can grow and carry such massive headgear. The antlers' sharp tines can inflict devastating wounds, and the risk of injury or even death is ever present. Environmental factors play a crucial role. The forest floor, softened by autumn rains, can provide traction or become a treacherous trap. The density of trees can either hinder movement or offer strategic cover. The bulls must read the terrain as well as their opponent, using every advantage the environment offers. When posturing fails to resolve the standoff, the bulls lower their heads and charge, muscles rippling beneath thick hides. The impact is thunderous, antlers crashing together with a force that reverberates through the trees. The sound is both awe-inspiring and terrifying, a testament to the raw power of these animals. Locked together, the bulls push and strain, each trying to overpower the other. Their neck muscles bulge, their legs dig furrows in the earth. This is a brutal test of endurance, strength, and leverage. The battle can last for minutes or stretch into a grueling, exhausting ordeal. With antlers locked, each bull tries to use his immense weight and powerful legs to force his rival backward, searching for any sign of weakness. The larger, more experienced bull often has the advantage, but youth and determination can sometimes tip the scales. The contest is not just about brute force, it's about timing, balance, and the ability to exploit a fleeting opportunity. The bulls twist and turn, hooves tearing up the forest floor, their bodies straining with every ounce of energy. Each is searching for an opening, a moment when the other's balance falters, when victory can be seized. The emotional toll is immense. The stakes are nothing less than the right to reproduce, to ensure that one's lineage continues. For the loser, the cost is not just physical injury, but the loss of a year's reproductive opportunity, a devastating blow in the harsh calculus of natural selection. These battles are fraught with danger. The sharp tines of the antlers can pierce deep, inflicting wounds that may prove fatal. In rare but tragic cases, the antlers become hopelessly entangled, dooming both combatants to a slow, agonizing death from starvation. The scars of battle are worn with pride, but they are also a reminder of the high price of victory. The forest, indifferent yet ever-present, bears silent witness to these life and death struggles. Sometimes the outcome is tragic, with both bulls succumbing to the consequences of their relentless drive. But more often, one bull gains the upper hand, through strength, cunning, or sheer determination. The victor may twist his rival off balance, forcing him to retreat and avoid a potentially fatal blow. The defeated bull, exhausted and battered, turns and flees, relinquishing his claim to the females and the hope of fatherhood. The victor, though often bruised and weary, stands tall, his dominance reaffirmed, his right to mate secured. The emotional release is palpable, a surge of triumph for the winner, a bitter defeat for the loser. The victorious bull stands among his harem, his genes destined to shape the next generation. This brutal, dramatic ritual is nature's way of ensuring that only the strongest, most resilient moose pass on their legacy. The calves born in the spring will carry the genes of the victor, inheriting the strength and endurance that allowed their father to triumph. In this way, the cycle continues. Each autumn, the forest becomes an arena, and the drama of life, death, and legacy plays out once more. Through these epic battles, the moose species is strengthened, and the wild heart of the forest beats on. On the vast open plains of the Serengeti, a timeless battle unfolds beneath the golden sun. The age-old rivalry between lions and spotted hyenas is a relentless, high-stakes contest for survival, played out in a world where every meal is hard-won. These apex predators are locked in a fierce, ongoing competition for food, each encounter a test of strength, strategy, and nerve. Their clashes are often explosive. Blood spatters the grass as roars and cackles echo across the savannah, turning the hunt into a brutal spectacle. Imagine a pride of lions, their teamwork flawless, bringing down a massive Cape buffalo after a coordinated ambush. The pride feasts, their powerful jaws tearing into fresh meat, but their victory is always precarious. The scent of blood drifts on the wind, a silent signal that draws attention from miles away. Soon, dark shapes appear on the horizon, hyenas drawn by the promise of a meal, slink through the tall grass with practiced stealth, A formidable clan of spotted hyenas, sometimes numbering over 20, emerges from the dusk, their eyes glinting with anticipation. Their eerie whoops and cackles fill the air, a chilling chorus that signals their intent to challenge the lions for the kill. Hyenas are not just scavengers, they are powerful hunters in their own right, with muscular bodies and bone-crushing jaws. Their jaws can snap through thick bones, allowing them to access nutrients other predators leave behind, but their greatest weapon is their numbers. Hyenas operate as a tightly coordinated unit, communicating constantly with vocalizations and body language. They encircle their rivals, probing for weaknesses, darting in and out with calculated precision. Their tactics are relentless, harassing the lions, nipping at their flanks, and using their superior numbers to intimidate and exhaust their foes. If a lioness is separated from her pride, the hyenas close in, their strategy clear: isolate, overwhelm, and conquer. They dart forward, snapping at her legs, trying to wear her down and force her to abandon the kill. The lioness stands her ground, baring her teeth and lashing out with powerful swipes. But she knows the danger is real. Cornered and outnumbered, even the bravest lioness risks being overwhelmed by the relentless pack. The pride must regroup, forming a defensive wall around the carcass as the hyenas press their attack from all sides. The scene erupts into chaos, dust flies, bodies collide, and the air is filled with snarls, growls, and the shrill laughter of hyenas. In some real-life encounters, hyenas have managed to drive off even large prides, their sheer numbers and persistence tipping the balance. But just when the hyenas seem poised to claim victory, the pride's ultimate weapon arrives: the alpha male lion. Towering above the others, his mane bristling, the alpha male is a force of nature, weighing over 500 pounds. Drawn by the sounds of battle, he charges into the fray, his presence alone enough to shift the odds. The hyenas hesitate, their confidence wavering as the king of beasts enters the arena. With a thunderous roar, the alpha male announces his dominance, sending a clear warning to all challengers. He lunges forward, scattering the hyenas with a display of raw power and aggression. The hyenas, who moments before were bold and united, now break ranks, fleeing from the lion's fury. Panic ripples through the clan as they retreat, unwilling to risk a direct confrontation with the pride's protector. From a safe distance, the hyenas watch, ever opportunistic, waiting for another chance. The male lion's intervention secures the kill for his family, allowing the pride to feast in relative peace. The hyenas linger at the edge of the clearing, ever patient, hoping to snatch leftovers once the lions have had their fill. For now, their attempt to steal the meal has been thwarted, but the rivalry is far from over. This epic showdown is a masterclass in animal tactics. Hyenas rely on teamwork, communication, and relentless pressure, while lions depend on unity, strength, and the leadership of their alpha. In real-life encounters, hyena clans have been observed using feints and distractions, drawing lions away from a kill, while others dart in to snatch pieces of meat. Lion prides, in turn, have been seen forming tight defensive circles, with cubs and weaker members shielded at the center, and the alpha male or dominant females taking the front lines. The presence of a powerful leader can turn the tide in an instant, as seen in countless real-life battles across the savannah. In the end, the struggle between lions and hyenas is a dramatic testament to the power of strategy, cooperation, and leadership in the wild, where only the most cunning and united can hope to dominate the unforgiving African savannah. Deep in the wild savannas, where the grass sways in the wind and danger lurks at every shadow, the rules of survival are written in tooth and claw. Here, size is not always the deciding factor in a conflict, especially when the fate of a family hangs in the balance. A bustling group of banded mongooses navigates the tall grass, their bodies weaving in and out of the golden blades. These small carnivores are not just a collection of individuals, but a tightly bonded family, each member alert to the slightest sign of danger. The mongooses communicate constantly. Chirps, tail flicks, and subtle body language keep the group coordinated. Their survival depends on this unity, as they forage for insects and small reptiles, always keeping the vulnerable pups at the center of their formation. While the adults dig and search for food, the pups tumble and play, blissfully unaware of the dangers that can descend from above at any moment. Suddenly, a vast shadow sweeps across the ground. Overhead, a flock of Marabou storks circles, their massive wings casting ominous patterns on the earth below. The air grows tense, every mongoose freezing in place, senses sharpened by instinct. The Marabou storks descend, their long dagger-like bills gleaming in the sunlight. To these towering birds, the mongoose pups are nothing more than easy prey, soft, defenseless, and ripe for the taking. In an instant, the mongoose colony erupts into a frenzy of movement. Alarm calls ring out, and the adults rush to form a living barrier around the pups, their bodies bristling with tension and fear. There is no hesitation, no thought of escape. The only instinct is to defend the young at all costs. The adults stand shoulder to shoulder, eyes locked on the advancing storks, every muscle coiled and ready to strike. The mongooses form a semicircle, a living shield between the monstrous birds and their precious offspring. Their strategy is clear: present a united, intimidating front, and confuse the predator with numbers and aggression. They bare their teeth, hiss, and lunge forward in coordinated bursts, each adult ready to bite and claw if the storks dare to advance. The air crackles with suspense, every heartbeat echoing the tension of the standoff. A single mongoose would stand no chance against a Marabou stork, but together their courage multiplies. The storks hesitate, momentarily thrown off by the ferocity of the tiny defenders. Suddenly, the mongooses surge forward, darting in and out, nipping at the stork's long, vulnerable legs. Their attacks are swift and unpredictable, designed to confuse and frustrate the predators. Dust swirls as the battle intensifies. The storks jab with their beaks, trying to snatch a pup amid the chaos, while the mongooses weave and dodge, never letting their guard down for a second. The storks are relentless, their beaks darting like spears, searching for any opening. The tension is palpable. Every second could mean the difference between life and death for the pups. Amid the chaos, the adults work together, herding the pups toward the safety of their burrow. Their movements are precise, each adult knowing its role in the desperate escape plan. But in the confusion, a single pup becomes separated, its tiny form lost in the tall grass. The danger intensifies, the stork's attention shifting to the isolated youngster. Sensing the peril, a brave adult mongoose breaks from the group, charging at the storks with reckless abandon. Its goal? To draw the predators away, sacrificing its own safety for the life of the pup. The storks turn, momentarily distracted by the bold display. The mongoose stands its ground, fur raised, eyes blazing with determination. The emotional tension is overwhelming. Will the sacrifice be enough? The battle rages on, but eventually the storks, frustrated and outmaneuvered, retreat. The mongooses regroup, some licking wounds, others mourning the loss of a pup or a brave defender. Sometimes, despite their best efforts, a swift stork manages to seize a pup, swallowing it whole in a moment of heartbreak that ripples through the entire colony. The survivors huddle together, comforting one another, the emotional weight of the encounter heavy in the air. Their collective defense has saved most of the brood, but the cost is felt by all. This harrowing encounter is a testament to the power of unity and sacrifice. The mongoose's strategy, cooperation, distraction, and relentless defense proves that even the smallest creatures can defy the odds. In the end, it is not size, but courage, loyalty, and teamwork that determine survival. Against the towering Marabou storks, the mongoose family stands united, scarred but unbroken, ready to face whatever dangers the wild may bring next. High in the forbidding, wind-swept mountains of Pakistan, where jagged cliffs slice the sky and the air is thin and cold, lives the Markhor, nature's most formidable wild goat. Here, in a world sculpted by ancient tectonic forces, The Markhor reigns supreme, its silhouette etched against the endless expanse of stone and sky. The Markhor is instantly recognizable by its magnificent spiraling horns, corkscrews of bone that can reach 5 feet in length, glinting in the harsh sunlight. During the icy grip of the breeding season, a dominant male, the undisputed king of the hill, stands sentinel over his flock of females, his every sense attuned to the shifting winds and distant echoes. But this prime position is never secure. The mountain kingdom is a place of constant challenge where ambitious rivals lurk among the shadows of boulders, waiting for a chance to seize the throne and the right to sire the next generation. When a challenger emerges, the mountains fall silent. The only sounds are the distant cry of an eagle and the crunch of hooves on loose scree. The stage is set for a duel that will test not only strength but cunning and nerve. The battle unfolds on ledges so narrow that a single misstep could send a combatant tumbling hundreds of feet into the abyss. The wind howls, carrying dust and the scent of danger. Every rock is slick with frost, every foothold uncertain. Here the environment itself is a ruthless adversary. The duel begins not with violence, but with ritual. The two males approach, muscles tense, fur bristling in the cold air. They posture, circling each other with deliberate, measured steps, their bodies angled to appear larger, more imposing. Their eyes lock, each searching for a flicker of weakness. Their spiral horns, ancient weapons honed by generations of conflict, glint in the sunlight. These horns are not just tools of war, they are badges of age, experience, and dominance. When posturing fails to settle the matter, the tension snaps. The rivals rear up on their hind legs, balancing precariously on the uneven stone, their hooves scraping for purchase. With a thunderous crash, they slam down, horns locking in a violent embrace. The impact reverberates through the rock, echoing across the empty valleys. The sound of their battle rolls through the mountains, a primal drumbeat that signals the struggle for supremacy. The duel is a brutal contest of strength and balance. The Markhors shove and twist, each trying to unbalance the other, hooves skidding dangerously close to the edge. Pebbles and dust cascade into the void below with every lunge. The reigning king has a secret weapon, his intimate knowledge of every treacherous inch of his domain. He knows which rocks are loose, which ledges are stable, and which patches of moss conceal hidden dangers. With every maneuver he exploits this knowledge, guiding the fight to ground that favors him. He sidesteps, feints, and lures his rival onto unstable ground, forcing the challenger to fight not just him, but the mountain itself. Sometimes he claims the higher ground, using gravity to add force to his attacks, sending his rival stumbling backward. Other times he drives the intruder onto a patch of loose scree, where every step is a gamble and every slip could be fatal. The fight becomes a dizzying ballet of power and agility, a wrestling match where the mountain is both stage and weapon. The Markhors circle, horns locked, muscles straining, each searching for the moment to strike. The stakes are nothing less than life and death. A single miscalculation could send either combatant plummeting into the chasm below, ending the contest in an instant. As the struggle drags on, fatigue sets in. The thin air burns in their lungs and their coats are slick with sweat and dust. At last, the dominant male, drawing on reserves of strength and experience, forces his rival backward, step by step, until the challenger's resolve breaks. With a final, desperate shove, the intruder is sent scrambling down the slope, defeated. The vanquished Markhor flees, his pride wounded, leaving the victor to stand tall above his flock, the undisputed ruler of this perilous domain. These epic duels, played out on the very roof of the world, are a testament to the Markhor's indomitable spirit and the relentless challenges of life in the mountains. The victor surveys his kingdom, battered but unbowed, his horns gleaming in the fading light. He has proven his worth, not just as a fighter, but as a master of this harsh, beautiful wilderness. In the end, the Markhor's triumph is not just a personal victory, but a promise to the next generation, a legacy written in the language of stone, wind, and survival, high above the world of men. In the intricate and tightly woven society of a lion pride, every member plays a vital role. But for the lionesses, nothing is more important than the safety of their cubs. When a new male appears on the horizon, the entire pride is thrown into a state of high alert. The threat is immediate and deadly, especially for the youngest and most vulnerable. A bachelor male, driven by the primal urge to establish his own bloodline, approaches with a singular, chilling purpose. His presence is a shadow over the pride, a harbinger of violence and upheaval. His intent is clear: to eliminate any cubs that are not his own, erasing the legacy of his predecessor and forcing the lionesses back into estrus. This brutal act, known as infanticide, is a harsh reality in the wild. By ending the lives of the cubs, the new male ensures that the females will soon be ready to mate, giving him the chance to father his own offspring and secure his genetic legacy. For the lionesses, this is the ultimate threat. Their maternal instincts ignite, transforming them from nurturing mothers into fierce warriors. They gather their cubs, encircling them with their bodies, every muscle tensed and ready to defend. The air crackles with tension as the bachelor male draws closer. The cubs huddle together, sensing the danger, while their mothers position themselves between the threat and their young, eyes locked on the intruder. Though the male is larger and more powerful than any single lioness, the mothers are united by a bond forged through shared hardship and the instinct to protect their young at all costs. The most experienced and determined lionesses take the lead, their eyes blazing with resolve. They signal to the others, and together they prepare to face the threat head-on. The group forms a tight, united front, bodies low to the ground, muscles rippling with anticipation. Deep, guttural growls rumble from their throats, a warning to the intruder that he will not have an easy victory. This is not a battle for territory or food. It is a desperate, all-or-nothing fight for the survival of their cubs, the future of the pride itself. The confrontation erupts in a sudden, violent clash. Claws slash through the air, teeth snap, and dust swirls as the lionesses launch themselves at the intruder with astonishing ferocity. Their tactics are a marvel of coordination. Some lionesses attack from the front, drawing the male's attention, while others circle to his flanks and rear, striking from unexpected angles. They surround him, swiping with razor-sharp claws, and biting wherever they find an opening. Each lioness knows her role, moving in perfect harmony with the others. Their strategy is simple but effective: overwhelm the male with sheer numbers and relentless aggression, never giving him a moment to recover or retaliate. If they manage to knock him off his feet, the tide of battle shifts dramatically. The lionesses press their advantage, refusing to let up for even a second. Once the male is down, the lionesses become a whirlwind of fury, biting and clawing with all the strength their bodies can muster. Their determination is absolute. They will not allow him to harm their cubs. Their unity is their greatest weapon. Acting as one, they transform from individual hunters into a formidable defensive force, each lioness trusting the others with her life. Overwhelmed by the relentless, coordinated assault, the bachelor male often finds himself with no choice but to retreat, battered and humiliated. Even his superior strength cannot save him from the onslaught of so many determined defenders. The lioness's courage and teamwork prove too much for him to overcome. Defeated, the male flees, his ambitions shattered by the mother's unwavering resolve. The pride stands victorious, the cubs safe for another day. The lionesses, though exhausted and bearing the marks of battle, gather their cubs close. Their relief is palpable, their victory hard-won and deeply felt. This powerful display of maternal courage and unity is a testament to the strength of the pride. The protective instinct of a mother is one of the most formidable forces in nature, capable of overcoming even the greatest threats and ensuring the survival of the next generation. The animal kingdom is a vast, intricate tapestry, where every thread is woven with struggle, adaptation, and survival. As we have witnessed, nature is not merely a stage for isolated battles, but a living, breathing arena where the circle of life and conflict is ever present, shaping every creature's destiny. From the desperate defense of a hard-won meal by a lone leopard, to the thunderous clashes between elephant bulls over access to a watering hole, conflict is an inescapable part of existence. These confrontations are not acts of malice, but essential moments that determine who eats, who breeds, and who survives. Each battle sends ripples through the ecosystem. When a dominant moose bull overpowers a rival, it not only secures its own legacy, but also influences the genetic future of the entire herd. The outcome of a single confrontation can shift the balance of power, alter migration patterns, and even affect the availability of resources for countless other species. In the savannah, a massive alpha lion scattering a clan of hyenas is not just a display of brute force, but a lesson in the delicate balance between predator and scavenger. Yet power alone is not the only path to victory. A cheetah, for example, relies on explosive speed and precise timing to outmaneuver both prey and competitors, while a pack of African wild dogs uses coordinated teamwork to bring down animals much larger than themselves. Intelligence and strategy are equally vital. A jaguar silently stalking a caiman along a riverbank demonstrates patience and cunning, while a band of mongooses confronting a much larger stork reveals the unbreakable strength of unity. In the rainforest, army ants form living bridges to overcome obstacles, and in the ocean, orcas use sophisticated hunting techniques to outwit their prey. The power of cooperation is seen when lionesses form a protective circle around their cubs, fending off a much larger male. Elsewhere, animals employ remarkable adaptations, like the chameleon's camouflage or the porcupine's quills, to tip the odds in their favor. Each species brings its own unique arsenal to the eternal contest for survival. The stakes in these conflicts are nothing short of life and death. For the vanquished, the consequences can be devastating: starvation, injury, exile, or the loss of a chance to pass on their genes. For the victor, the rewards are profound: a full belly, a safe den, and the opportunity to nurture the next generation. These struggles, repeated countless times each day across every continent and habitat, are the engine of evolution. Only the strongest, cleverest, and most adaptable individuals succeed, ensuring that their traits are passed on, gradually shaping the species to better fit their ever-changing environments. These fierce battles, though sometimes difficult to witness, are essential to the health of the ecosystem. They keep populations in check, distribute resources among the fittest, and drive the relentless process of adaptation and change. The peaceful moments, herds grazing, flocks migrating, predators resting, are made possible by the resolution of these conflicts, maintaining the delicate balance of nature. Whether it is a wolf pack pursuing a caribou across the tundra, a pair of rutting stags locking antlers in the forest, or a golden eagle soaring triumphantly with its catch, each conflict is a story of survival against the odds. These moments remind us that in the wild, life is a precious prize, won through strength, courage, intelligence, and an unyielding will to endure. The circle of life and conflict is not just a cycle of violence, but a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the animal kingdom. It is a magnificent, ongoing saga, one that ensures the continued vitality and diversity of life on Earth. As dawn breaks over the golden plains of the African savannah, a new chapter of conflict is about to unfold. A pack of African wild dogs, renowned for their relentless stamina and unbreakable teamwork, emerges from the shadows, eyes fixed on a distant herd of wildebeest. The air is thick with anticipation. For the wild dogs, survival depends on unity. For the wildebeest, it is the strength of the herd that offers the best hope of escape. The wild dogs begin their hunt with silent precision, communicating through subtle glances and body language. Each member knows its role. Flankers drift wide, steering the herd's movement. The alpha female leads the charge, her pace setting the rhythm. Their strategy is not brute force, but endurance, wearing down their quarry with relentless pursuit. The wildebeest, sensing danger, bunch tightly together. Calves are pressed into the center, shielded by a fortress of adult bodies and flashing hooves. The herd's survival depends on cohesion. Any straggler risks instant peril. The matriarch's bellow commands, urging the herd into a thundering gallop. Dust billows into the morning light as hundreds of hooves drum the earth in unison. The chase is on. Wild dogs dart in and out, working as a single organism. They target the edges, testing for weakness, searching for a young or injured wildebeest who cannot keep pace. The wildebeest respond with coordinated turns, shifting as one to block the dog's advances. Each side adapts in real time, a contest not just of speed, but of intelligence and anticipation. Minutes stretch into an eternity. The wild dogs take turns leading the pursuit, conserving their energy, never letting up. Their relentless pressure fractures the herd's outer ring. A young wildebeest falters, separated by the swirling chaos. In a flash, the dogs single it out, closing in with practiced precision. But the herd does not abandon its own. With a surge of collective will, the adults wheel around and charge the attackers. Horns lowered, bodies forming a living shield. The wild dogs, agile and cautious, dart back, regrouping to avoid injury. It is a dramatic standoff, strategy against strategy, courage against cunning. At last, exhausted and outmaneuvered, the wild dogs retreat to regroup. The wildebeest herd, battered but intact, resumes its march across the plains, calves safe within the living wall of protection. For today, unity and vigilance have triumphed over predatory skill. This struggle, played out countless times across Africa, is a testament to the power of group dynamics and adaptation. It is a living example of nature's relentless push and pull, where every strategy is met by a counter, and survival hinges on the bonds between individuals. Here on the open savanna, the battle between wild dogs and wildebeest is not just a fight for a meal or a life, it is the very engine of evolution in motion. Beneath the sweltering sun of the Indonesian islands, a silent drama unfolds in the tangled shadows of mangrove forests and dusty savanna clearings. Here, the earth is cracked and dry, and the air carries the scent of salt and decay. It is the kingdom of the Komodo dragon, the world's largest living lizard, a master of patience and lethal precision. A massive water buffalo, its hide dark and scarred, wades into a muddy watering hole, seeking relief from the relentless heat. Each step sends ripples across the stagnant water, disturbing flocks of birds that scatter to the canopy above. The buffalo's heavy breaths mingle with the drone of insects, oblivious to the danger lurking at the water's edge. Motionless, almost invisible against the earth, the Komodo dragon waits. Its forked tongue flicks, tasting the air, registering the scent of blood and sweat. Hunting for the dragon is not a matter of speed, but of strategy, an art honed by millions of years of evolution. It watches, unblinking, as the buffalo lowers its head to drink, muscles tensed beneath its mottled skin. Suddenly, the dragon strikes, exploding from the undergrowth with shocking speed. Its massive jaws clamp down on the buffalo's leg, serrated teeth tearing flesh, injecting venom. The buffalo bellows, thrashing in panic, hooves churning the muddy water into a frenzy, but the dragon does not cling. It releases and slips back into the underbrush, vanishing as quickly as it appeared. The wound bleeds, but it is the venom that does its work now. Hours pass. The sun arcs overhead, shadows stretching long. The buffalo grows weak, its movements sluggish, its breaths ragged. All the while, the Komodo dragon waits in the shade, eyes fixed on its prey. It is a battle of endurance, not brute force, a test of patience and inevitability. As dusk settles, the buffalo collapses, overcome by blood loss and the dragon's toxic bite. Only then does the Komodo emerge, slow and deliberate, joined by others drawn by the scent of impending death. Together they claim their prize, the cycle of life and death playing out as it has for centuries on these remote islands. In this harsh landscape, victory belongs not to the strongest or the fastest, but to the most patient predator. The Komodo dragon's calculated tactics and the water buffalo's desperate fight for survival reveal the intricate, unforgiving balance of nature, where every shadow hides a story and every breath could be the last. In the remote reaches of the northern wilderness, where the forests are dense and the air is sharp with the scent of pine and cold earth, a silent tension simmers beneath the canopy. Here the rules of survival are written in tooth and claw, and every inch of territory is fiercely contested. A lone grizzly bear, massive and scarred by seasons of hardship, lumbers through the undergrowth. Its fur is matted with mud and old wounds, each step heavy with the confidence of a creature that knows no rival. Almost. The bear's senses are keen, nose twitching at the faintest scent, ears swiveling for the slightest sound. This is its domain, a patchwork of berry-laden thickets and salmon-rich streams, fiercely defended against all intruders. But tonight, shadows move between the trees, silent and coordinated. A pack of wolves, 8 strong, emerges from the gloom, their eyes catching the last glimmers of twilight. Each wolf is lean, powerful and hungry, driven by the collective will of the pack. They move as one, communicating with subtle glances and the barest flick of a tail. Their objective is clear: challenge the grizzly for control of this abundant land. The bear catches their scent first, a warning carried on the wind. It stands tall, a looming silhouette against the darkening sky, rumbling a deep, guttural threat. But the wolves are undeterred. They fan out, encircling the bear, their formation a testament to instinctual strategy honed by generations of survival. The alpha, a grizzled female with ice-bright eyes, leads the charge, testing the bear's resolve with darting feints and sharp, snapping jaws. The grizzly roars, swiping with paws as heavy as sledgehammers, each strike a deadly promise. The wolves respond with agility, harrying the bear from all sides, never allowing it to settle or focus on a single target. Their tactics are relentless: distract, exhaust, outmaneuver. They nip at the bear's haunches, dart away from crushing blows, and regroup with uncanny precision. For the bear, this is a battle of endurance and intimidation, a display of raw power meant to deter. For the wolves, it is a symphony of coordination and calculated risk, each member trusting in the unity of the pack. The forest itself seems to hold its breath as the confrontation crescendos. Snarls echo through the trees, the ground churns beneath claw and paw, and the air is thick with the scent of adrenaline and fear. Minutes stretch into what feels like hours. At last, wearied by the unending barrage and sensing the wolves' unwavering resolve, the grizzly relents. With a final, defiant roar, it turns and melts into the shadows, conceding this patch of wilderness, at least for tonight. The wolves gather, triumphant yet cautious, their victory hard-won and never absolute. In this untamed land there are no permanent kings, only challengers, each shaped by the unforgiving environment and the psychological chess game of predator and rival. The battle between wolves and grizzly bear is not just a contest of strength, but a testament to the complex, ever-shifting balance of nature, where every victory is temporary and every defeat is a lesson written in the tracks left behind. Far above the world's bustling continents, where the sun glimmers low on the horizon and the wind howls across an endless expanse of white, the Arctic Ocean sprawls in icy silence. Beneath this frozen veneer, a hidden world pulses with life and danger, where survival is a daily wager, and every breath is precious. Here, a pod of orcas glides effortlessly through the frigid water, their black and white forms ghostly beneath the shifting ice flows. The matriarch leads, her intelligence and experience guiding the pod through a labyrinth of submerged ice. Each orca moves with an eerie grace, apex predators honed by millennia to hunt in darkness and cold. Above them, a cluster of ringed seals basks on a jagged ice raft. Their bodies are plump, insulated against the chill, eyes wide and wary. The seals know the risks. The ice is both sanctuary and trap. They listen for the telltale creak of shifting flows. the faintest ripple in the water below. For now, they are safe, but the orcas are patient. The hunt begins with silent calculation. The orcas fan out, communicating with clicks and whistles too high for seal ears to detect. The matriarch scans the ice, searching for weaknesses, thin edges, cracks, places where a sudden surge might shatter the seal's refuge. The pod synchronizes, their movements precise and fluid, a living wave of intent. Suddenly the orcas strike. With powerful tails, they unleash a coordinated wave, sending a tremor through the ice. The seals scatter, bodies plunging for the safety of the water, but the orcas anticipate their escape. Two younger orcas dart beneath the ice edge, blocking exits, while others herd the seals into a tightening circle. The environment itself becomes a weapon. Jagged ice flows, shifting currents, and the biting cold test predator and prey alike. The seals twist and turn, desperate for air, surfacing through tiny breathing holes that the orcas remember and patrol. One seal, separated and panicked, makes a dash for a distant gap, but the matriarch is waiting. With a burst of speed, she intercepts, her jaws closing in a swift, decisive motion. The remaining seals regroup, pressing against the ice, eyes scanning for shadows below. The orcas do not rush. They understand the patience of the hunt. Hours may pass, the cycle repeating, predator and prey locked in a silent, icy ballet. In this stark world, every move is amplified by the cold, every mistake costly. The orcas' intelligence and teamwork are matched only by the seal's agility and caution. There are no guarantees, only the relentless pressure of survival against the backdrop of endless white and the haunting call of the Arctic wind. As dusk settles, the ice floe drifts, carrying the seals to temporary safety. Beneath, the orcas regroup, their hunt unfinished but never truly unsuccessful. In the Arctic, the contest never ends. Each encounter a lesson in adaptation, strategy, and the raw, unforgiving beauty of life at the edge of the world. Deep within the emerald heart of the South American rainforest, where sunlight shatters into golden fragments through a dense canopy, a silent drama unfolds. The air is thick with the scent of moss and damp earth, punctuated by the distant calls of howler monkeys and the rhythmic drone of insects. Every shadow conceals a secret, and every rustle could be the prelude to survival or peril. On a winding animal trail, a giant anteater ambles with deliberate grace, its elongated snout sweeping the forest floor. Its shaggy fur ripples with each step, blending into the dappled undergrowth. The anteater's claws, long, curved and razor-sharp, tuck beneath its heavy forelimbs, built not only for tearing into termite mounds, but also as a formidable line of defense. Unbeknownst to the anteater, a jaguar stalks from the thicket, muscles rippling beneath rosette-patterned fur. The apex predator's golden eyes fix on its quarry, calculating each movement with predatory precision. In this lush realm, the jaguar reigns supreme, its power matched only by its stealth. But even the king of the forest must respect his adversaries. The anteater pauses, sensing a presence. It lifts its head, nostrils flaring, ears twitching for the faintest sign of danger. Leaves tremble. The jaguar inches closer, its body low, the very embodiment of patience and focus. The rainforest itself seems to hold its breath. Suddenly, the jaguar lunges, breaking the silence with a burst of speed. The anteater rears onto its hind legs, towering unexpectedly, forelimbs spread wide. Its claws flash in the filtered sunlight. One swipe could maim, even kill. The anteater huffs, a warning rumble echoing through the underbrush. The jaguar hesitates, circling, searching for weakness, but the anteater stands its ground, swaying with slow, intimidating movements. Around them, the forest watches. A pair of toucans flutter overhead, capuchin monkeys freeze mid-leap, and a tapir melts into the shadows. In this moment, the balance of power teeters on a knife's edge. For long seconds, predator and prey are locked in a test of wills, strength against strategy, instinct against adaptation. The jaguar flicks its tail, muscles coiled for another assault, but the anteater's defenses hold. Knowing the risk of injury, the jaguar retreats, disappearing into the tangled green, its pride intact, but its hunger unsated. The Anteater lowers itself, heart pounding, and resumes its journey through the undergrowth. The rainforest exhales, life continuing in a pulse of color and sound. Here, survival is not always about victory, but about knowing when to fight and when to walk away. In the endless cycle of hunter and hunted, every creature is both vulnerable and resilient, shaped by the relentless artistry of the wild.